very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone who are listening this wonderful podcast. As you can see, we have got a beautiful, one of the most daring personality with us, who is none other than Alison Gieschen. Hi, Alison. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alison. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, before say something, Alison, would you like to introduce yourself within uh, sentence or so that I can give more detail about you by reading the introduction that I have, please?
I can't hear you.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Okay, just 1 minute. Ansu, are you able to hear me? Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
You are audible.
ओके
You are
उनका
audible.
कुछ
Hi, everyone.
उनके उनके कंप्यूटर में कोई तकलीफ हुई होगी तो कैसे हम इनको मदद कर सकते हैं
Wait for her respond. Then
या तो फिर उसको आप बोलेंगे कि प्लग निकाल के फिर से लगा दे
she's hi, Alishon. Can you hear me? Am I audible to you? She even she's not audible to me.
अ, अ,
Alison, can you hear me? Please, sir, write in the let me private chat. Use
हम्म,
get back to you soon.
आप पहले इसको बंद तो कर दें स्ट्रीम लाइन को बंद कर दें
Sir, you are live. Could you please?
गॉड तो प्लीज are you able to hear me now
Hello, can you hear me?
yes I can but are you able to hear me
Can you hear me?
yes
Okay.
no but can you hear me
Yes.
that's great
Oh, I gotta leave my phone.
uh, fine
Okay.
hello are you able to hear me once again
Yes, I am.
lovely fine
Oh, what happened? All right.
हम तो फिर से शुरू करेंगे Okay, let's continue. So nice of you for being with us. Let me read out a lovely introduction that I have about you. And here it is. Well, Alison Gieschen. From the classroom to open seas, Alison, known as the Nautical Novelist, has spent the past 8 years sailing across the world and writing from the anchorages in over 40 countries. My God. Once an educator and host from honor, she traded certainty for the tides, discovering lessons in courage, creativity, and connection. Allison's mission is to inspire others to live with presence and purpose. And tonight, she invites us to explore how adventure, can rewrite not just our story, but who we become. And Alison has proved that. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, Alison. We are
Thank
really
you.
very proud of you. So, would you like to tell something about you in one or two lines? That's all, because all the questions are related to your adventure only. Please go ahead, Alison. The platform is yours.
Okay, so I used to be a horse farm owner and a school teacher, and my husband and I sold everything we owned, and we're sailing around the world.
Wow, great. What a shift in your life from the horse rider to a sailor. Wow. Alison, the first question that came to my mind is that you being a teacher, your husband being a sailor, you two combined, had been in the horse riding business.
Hmm.
Now I am thinking that what if your husband tomorrow thinks and says, I'll be flying a plane? What would you do?
um, I'd probably sell the boat and go back to land.
Good. So please tell us little about your journey, that how you shifted from your educational life to the sailing life.
It was actually a long process. We made a 5-year plan,
Oh God.
and we went to a lot of educational seminars. We read a lot of books, and we even took a 1,000-mile training passage.
Please, please describe little more.
Okay. It took us a long time to find our boat. Um, there was only 50 ever made. So when we found one, by the time we made the plane ticket, it would be sold. So that was quite a process. And then actually selling everything you own on land is quite difficult. We had to put our house up for sale, our cars, everything in the house. And then once we moved on the boat, we had a lot of work to do. We had to fix it up. We had to repaint the bottom and update all the electronics.
Oh, great. And Alison, Daniel, your husband, he was in the uh, marine
Merchant Marines.
marine, and he was the instructor, the graduate teacher. When did you meet him, and how you thought to be inclined to him?
We met in a sailboat race.
Hmm.
My cousin brought him down to be a ringer on my mom's sailboat.
Hmm.
And we had a wonderful weekend together. Before I went back to Charlotte and he went back to Philadelphia, we were saying goodbye, and we knew we were attracted to one another. And he said, my dream is to sail around the world someday. And I said, mine
Oh,
too. Let's get married. So we did.
okay, great. My God. But Alison, you could have done it by keeping your horse form as it was, being on the land. But how the thought came to you, sell off and jump in the sea?
Well, we probably would have done it right away, but we got married and we had kids. And I came with
Hmm.
horses. So he had to build me a horse farm. And then he actually got into horses. He started playing polo. And we had such an involved life with our farm and our kids and our horses. When our last son got married, that's when he said, it's time.
Oh, wow. And you had all success, you had all security, whereas you jump in the sea, which is totally different life. Can you please describe little more how the journey went especially in the beginning era?
Well, the beginning was really rough. We decided to go cross the ocean the first time with a rally.
Hmm.
And that's where a
Oh.
group of boats get together. And you spend a week preparing. You have a weather router. They check your safety equipment. They organize everything.
Mhm.
So this was mostly for my benefit. Dan had already crossed oceans, but I had not. So I wanted the safety of having a bunch of boats with us. Unfortunately, when we set off, we heard a strange noise coming from our engine. And Dan did not want to cross the Atlantic if there was something wrong with our engine. So we diverted and we went back to shore, and we had several experts out to check our boat, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it.
Oh my God.
So 10 days later, we were still working with a weather router, and we were waiting to get a opportunity to cross the Gulf Stream, because that's the dangerous part. And one morning he said, "You've got an hour to pull up your anchor and get across the Gulf Stream in 24 hours because there's another big storm coming. And if you don't leave today, you're not going to leave for another 2 weeks." So we pulled up our anchor. We had a great 24-hour crossing. And then all hell broke loose. So if you've seen the movie A Perfect Storm, there's two storms that converge and the waves get bigger and bigger. That's what happened to us.
Oh God.
And we had $14,000 worth of damage done to our boat. And we did a 500-mile loop, and we ended up back at shore, 10 miles from where we started. So the insurance company paid for the damage, and we got our boat fixed. But I was sort of mentally scarred after that. And I wasn't sure that I could continue. But I did.
You did. Yes, you did. I'm just thinking, can you please take us to the journey where you had the number of boats, you had the choices. How did you choose the boat which you are having, which is 43 feet long and just a simple one?
Well, as I told you, we did a heavy weather training passage. And our mentor, John Kretschmer, discussed all types of boats, their makes, what boats would be good for us. And he made a top 10 list. And we used that top 10 list to boat shop. Are you okay?
I'm thrilled to know about your journey. But please tell us that during your journey, please tell us one by one, what are the lessons that you thought that you learned, you enjoyed, you relished, and you kept on moving with them. Please tell in detail.
Well, it's a constant learning experience. And at first, for me, it was overcoming fear. And I learned that it's okay to be afraid, but you do have to learn how to manage it.
Very correct.
And there's been a lot of times since that first big storm where we've had things break and things go wrong. We've actually had to turn around and go back to shore again. But you realize it's all part of the journey. So I've stopped looking at this as getting to a certain place at a certain time when you expect to be there. Instead, my motto is now we're exactly where we are when we're meant to be there.
Mm-hmm. Well, before I ask you a few more questions, one question came to my mind that you are an educator, you are a teacher, you are teaching, and a teacher do not stop unless and until bell rings after 30, 40, 50 minutes. Whereas after being in the sailing life, you have only one person to talk to. Maximum how much you will talk. But how you change yourself?
So you're asking how just being with one person is different than having conversation with
Correct.
multiple people
Correct.
every day.
Yeah.
It's a learning process,
Uh-huh.
and we don't have any lack of things to talk about. But I also know a lot of people who started out on this journey with a spouse and they didn't make it.
Oh,
So I think you really need to be compatible with who you're with and comfortable with being only with them.
ooh.
And we have mastered that.
Mhm, mhm. So who's more talkative, yourself or Daniel?
I think it's pretty equal.
And who can receive more signals about your sign language? Who understands more, yourself or Daniel?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think I understand him more than he understands me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow. Can you please narrate one of the instances where he didn't speak anything, but still you could read out from his face and acted the way he wanted?
I can't think of any one particular experience.
Mhm.
I just think in general, I can tell his mood without him saying anything. And
Oh,
that comes from living on 43 feet and being in close proximity 24 hours a day.
mhm. Right. So you said that your personality has definitely changed. This is how you could able to see the person, read the person, understand the person without speaking. I agree with you fully. Can you please
Yes.
tell something more in detail that what are the other things that you felt have changed from the time you were single and from the time you married and started being with Daniel, especially in the sea?
Well, on the sea, life on a boat is very different.
Hmm.
You don't wake up to a job, to
Hmm.
having to get in a car and go somewhere. Um, you don't have all these distractions. And on a
Correct.
boat, it's about survival, it's about the
Hmm.
journey, and it's about enjoying everything around you.
Right. Joining and enjoying everything around you. So, can you please tell us in more detail? Because I can visualize everything, means I can think of only water, water, water everywhere. What are the other things you think that are there? What are they? How do you pursue those items?
It depends where we are.
Hmm.
There's a really big difference between
Like,
being at an anchor or a marina near shore and being out at sea. So when you spend a month out at sea, your life is very different than when you are at anchor. And
right,
that solitude and that quietness just leaves you so much time to reflect and think and write and just be in the moment.
right.
And I don't think most people who live in a house on land have ever experienced being in the moment like you do when you're out at sea.
Correct.
And when we're at harbor, it's all about exploring the land, finding grocery stores and things to eat, and meeting the cultural uh, aspects of wherever we are, because every place is
Hmm.
different and unique. And we try to educate ourselves about what the cultures are like, but you never truly know until you get there and you experience it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Alison, people spend their whole life by being in one place. It may be a city or it may be anything. You spent, I think, in a number of countries you had been to. Can you remember that which country taught you what, or what are the specialty that you learned from the various countries?
Well, since we've been to 50, That's really hard to remember each and every one. But that's why I write books. So in my books, I have a memoir of the first 3 years, and then our time in the Mediterranean. And that helps me remember, especially the special moments, and the experiences we enjoyed the most.
Do you remember in which country you enjoyed the most your staying time?
I would have to say the Azores. Do you know where they are?
No,
They're a group of islands about 800 miles off the coast of Portugal. And they're absolutely magical. Christopher Columbus went there on his way to discovering the Americas.
Ooh.
And the islands are volcanic, and they're very pristine. They don't have any they don't use any like chemicals in their food or pesticides or anything. Everything is organic, and it's extremely inexpensive.
Ooh.
So to go to a dinner there where you might have a bottle of wine, an appetizer, an entree, this huge meal, dessert, and then more wine after is like $20 a person for the best meal you've ever eaten in your life. And it's also geographically unique, and that these ocean currents go through them that are very deep, and it attracts all kinds of very special sea life. So it used to be the whaling capital of the world, and now they still have whale watchers, even though whaling has been banned, that sit on the top of each island. There's like 7 or 8 islands, and they've got these binoculars, and they spot the pods of whales with the binoculars, and they can tell by the spout what the species of whale is. So the people who are doing the whale watching can find the whales because they'll know exactly where they are and where they're schooling. And the sea life and the beauty of these volcanic mountains is just absolutely stunning, and the people are friendly, and it's inexpensive. And it's between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit all year round.
Oh. And as you said about the whales, do you recall what was the longest whale? How long it was? And
The
did you
longest
not hear?
passage? Yes, it was the Pacific, crossing the Pacific. So it was a month.
Oh. So many things you told by staying in the sea, sailing in the sea, being in the sea. Can you please tell 2-3 points where you think there is a difference between the life in the sea and life on the land? What would your reply for that?
Well, as I was saying before about being in the moment, there's just really no way to describe it until you've lived it. But life is about like each moment, existing each moment, and you have to be in charge of your boat, and that you're on the right course, and that everything is going smoothly. And then when things get rough, you're focused on keeping yourself safe. And I think on land, food is a huge priority, and people are like, oh, we're crossing an ocean and you're out to sea. Like, how do you carry that much food? Or like, well, we have lots of storage. So we have enough, rice and beans dried that we could probably last a year if we had to. But you don't feel like eating because your whole schedule is different. Instead of waking up and having breakfast and lunch and dinner, you're up all night because you're taking watches. So we do like 3 hours and 3 hours on and 3 hours off all night long. And that kind of changes your patterns during the day. So we don't wake up at a time and have breakfast. We might wait until like 12, 1 o'clock when we're both awake, because sometimes we nap during the day, and we'll have a biggish sort of meal. And then we just might have light snacks when we get hungry. So you're not eating 3 meals a day. You don't need that much food. And your life kind of revolves around sunrise and sunset. You might not even notice when you live on land, like, oh, the sun's up or the sun's down. But when you're on a boat, it's an epic event. So every sunrise and sunset, we are outside, watching it intensely, and just it's like a magical moment where the earth goes from being light to dark, or if you're at night and all of a sudden the sun comes up and suddenly your world is light again. And it's just a
Right.
really special time of day, both the sunrise and the sunset.
Good. So just please keep your headphone on your head because I'm going to ask you fast questions, which is a rapid
Okay.
fire session. Yeah, so please keep on listening and keep on answering in the shortest possible way. And here comes the first question for you, and that is Alison. Please tell which one you would prefer: sunrise at the anchor or sunset under the sail?
Sunset.
Oh, okay. Next question. What is the biggest fear you had before leaving land life?
Before leaving land life,
Before leaving, yeah, before leaving land life.
sinking.
Oh, yes, same with me. Great. Can you please tell one thing you thought you needed, but you didn't get it?
On the boat or on land?
Uh, on the boat.
On the boat. A television.
Oh, yes. Okay. And one thing that you never thought you will be getting, and you got it. What is that?
Starlink.
Oh, Edison,
Did
what is the hardest lesson the ocean has taught you? What is that?
to not be afraid of being afraid.
Please repeat it again. Do not be afraid of being
Of
afraid. Is it so?
of being afraid, yes. Afraid.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. And what is the most unexpected joy of this lifestyle?
When you arrive in port
Hmm,
after being out at sea for a month.
beautiful. Well, can you recall one favorite place where you never planned but still you visited?
My favorite, I guess, was Greece.
Hmm. Oh, is that so beautiful? Okay,
Yes.
good. Can you recall or express one word that best describes your life in the sea?
Flexible.
Good. And what writing most surprised you once you started this journey? Which one you liked most? Fiction, memoir, children's book, or anyone?
My fiction book.
Oh, right. And can you name one of the books that you have written about your fiction?
Can you repeat that?
Okay. And can you please recall all the three? I think you have written number of books. Can you recall at least three, four, five books?
Sure. I have Julia's Faulting Dream, which
Hmm.
is a realistic fiction about the
Hmm.
equestrian sport I used to teach. I have Blue Ridge, which is a fiction novel, obviously
Uh-huh.
about the Blue Ridge Mountains. I have my two sailing memoirs.
Right.
I have The Seven, which is a fiction novel.
Hmm.
And I have Sienna, A Mermaid's Tale.
Oh,
And Marlin, the sequel, is coming out April 1st.
great. Wow. Here is my next question. Please finish this sentence. This journey taught me that life is
More enjoyable when you sell everything you
enjoyable.
own, everything you own, and sail around the world.
Wow. Great, great, great. Well, Alison, I have got still number of questions to be asked, especially from the listener that I have got and from my side also. But the time did not permit me. Well, Alison, what a journey. I especially thank you from the bottom of my heart for reminding us that the freedom begins the moment we dare to untie the ropes, and that you have proved it. Your stories of resilience, reinvention, and wonder reminds us that the greatest voyage happened within. Let's live inspired to chase our own someday and to let change, like the sea, shape us into who we are meant to be. Because, and the way you have described your journey is really marvelous. And believe me, your answers were really, I was getting goosebumps in my body. Super. And every time I was trying to instigate you to reply, but you are the one who are so calm, quiet, balanced. Wow, I'm thinking as if you are a statue of Buddha. Beautiful. I loved
Well,
it. Thank you.
you have you have to have me back again because
I will, I will, I will, I will.
I have this horrible echo and I can't say anything without hearing my voice and it's really messed me up.
Oh, but this was superb, superb. On behalf of this platform, I sincerely pray God to give you all strength, wisdom, courage, money, power, time, and everything, so that the work that you are doing, please keep on doing. And as and when we request you again, please come to our platform and spare your valuable time. We will love to have you again. Thank
Well,
you so
thank you.
much.
I would love another chance.
Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for having
Together we are global speakers talk.